Hey, it's your guy Tyrrell back with the interviews. In today's video, we're going to briefly analyze the main tactical themes in Arsenal's 3-1 win over Aston Villa. So in today's video, first we're going to focus on how both sides look to press, then we'll shift to Arsenal's attacking shape and look at how they made some modifications down the left-hand side, and then lastly we'll focus on Thomas Partey's set-piece role while briefly touching on how Aston Villa changed their shape in the second half. So when we break down the game and we do look at the board, we have Arsenal in a 4-2-3-1 and Aston Villa starting the game in a 3-5-2. Here what we saw from Mikel Arteta is that he went with Saka and Smith-Rowe in the wider areas, and Lacazette started ahead of Lokonga and Thomas Partey. So when we focus on the pressing, this was key because it ensured that Arsenal were able to negate Aston Villa from creating quality chances or getting into advanced positions on a consistent basis. What we witnessed from Arsenal was that they had Aubameyang, Smith-Rowe, and Saka stepping forward to the center backs to close them down. And then out in that midfield area, Lacazette did a very good job of sitting on Douglas Luiz. And Lokonga and Thomas Partey were stepping forward to close down Buendia and McGinn. That means that you do need Nuno Tavares and Tomiyasu to step forward to close down Target and Cash. And that leaves a 2v2 battle up front, but Arsenal did a very good job of ensuring that Aston Villa back five or the midfield duo didn't have ample time and space on the ball to supply the forwards. Here you see Mings on the ball with Saka looking to step forward to apply pressure, and that's where you witness Buendia dropping off into his own half in search of possession and dragging out Thomas Partey. When Buendia receives the ball, Thomas Partey's pressure forces him to play a first-time pass into the path of Target, and that's where you see Tomiyasu stepping forward to close him down quickly, with White shifting laterally to close down Watkins. Ultimately, that pass from Buendia is a bit short, and it allows Tomiyasu to step forward to halt Aston Villa's attack. Here's an example of Arsenal's pressing in full effect from the front, with Aubameyang stepping towards Tuanzebe. You have Smith-Rowe and Saka just ready to step towards Mings or Konsa, and that's where you see Thomas Partey and Lokonga stepping towards McGinn and Buendia. There was the rare occasion where you ended up seeing Saka stepping towards Mings and Tomiyasu couldn't step towards Target because Watkins was shifting over. But even in those scenarios where Watkins is looking to occupy Tomiyasu, if Saka can't track back, you can't have Tomiyasu stepping forward to close down Target, as we witness White shifting across to cover for him to close down Watkins. However, when we focus on the Aston Villa pressing, their narrow shape was a disservice to them due to the fact that Arsenal's wider players ensured that they stuck towards the touchline to occupy Cash and Target. So what you ended up seeing was that Ings and Watkins were closing the Arsenal center backs, and out in that midfield zone, McGinn and Buendia were stepping to Thomas Partey and Lokonga. But now with Cash and Target occupied by Saka and Smith-Rowe, that meant that McGinn and Buendia had to shift out into those wider areas to close down Tavares and Tomiyasu. In most cases, they didn't do that, and that often left Gabriel and White the option to slide the ball out to Tavares and Tomiyasu, and they were able to carry the ball into space. Or what we ended up seeing was that Ramsdale was looking to punt the ball out into Smith-Rowe and Saka because of Aston Villa's narrow shape, and that was due to the fact that there was a passing lane for the goalkeeper or even the center backs to play in Smith-Rowe and Saka if they dropped off deeper. Ultimately, despite Saka shifting to the left channel, this is why Arsenal were able to bypass that press. You have Gabriel sliding the ball across Watkins into the path of Nuno Tavares, as you witness Smith-Rowe dropping off Konsa to pull him into the midfield area, and Cash can't step forward because Saka is hugging the touchline. Here you see Gabriel with time and space as Ings steps towards him late, and Gabriel simply slides the ball across the Aston Villa striker into the path of Nuno Tavares, who's freed down that left channel, as it does force McGinn to shift out to close him down. In terms of Arsenal's attack, we did see some bright moments where Saka was getting the ball on that right touchline, and there were midfield runs from Lokonga or Lacazette into space behind Target, and that ensured that there were numbers in that right-sided zone, as on several occasions Saka was often in 1v2s or Tomiyasu was pushing forward into that zone and overloaded as well. In central areas, Lacazette was looking to get the ball in between the lines and in pockets of space. And we did witness more attacking surges from Lokonga, who did look to step forward into Aston Villa's third. But again, it was predominantly down the left-hand side where Arsenal did cause their problems. But we did witness somewhat of a shift. Smith-Rowe was looking to drop off deeper to receive the ball away from Konsa, and that was due to the fact that McGinn was focused on Lokonga. And that's where Nuno Tavares was constantly making overlapping runs. And when Smith-Rowe was picking up the ball in those deeper positions, he was able to carry it forward because there was often not tight pressure on him. And that saw Nuno Tavares being able to make overlapping runs into attacking positions. And that was where Arsenal were able to get into their best positions. If Smith-Rowe wasn't dropping off deeper into that midfield area, he was looking to shift laterally and make runs into the gaps between Cash and Konsa and Tuanzebe. Here we're seeing Smith-Rowe looking to get the ball in those deeper positions, turn, carry it forward, and then get the overload or the overlapping run for Nuno Tavares. And on most situations, there were times where you had Lokonga in that zone, Smith-Rowe shifting into the midfield area, and Tavares was the attacker down that side. That's where you would see Lokonga pushing forward into the final third as well, and they would have somewhat of a triangle, and it would force Douglas Luiz to shift across if McGinn wasn't dropping off deeper to cover. If Lokonga wasn't in that zone and he was more central, you'd see Smith-Rowe dropping off a bit deeper, and that's where they would have Nuno Tavares looking to make runs beyond Konsa and Cash, or simply take on Cash and break towards the byline. In the build up to the corner that results in Arsenal's opener, it starts with Saka on the ball in the right channel, pulling out target, and that's where you witness a forward run from Lokonga into space behind the Aston Villa wingback. As you can see, as that play develops, Lokonga's movement pulls out Douglas Luiz, and it allows Saka to play the ball around target into the path of Aubameyang, checking off Tuanzebe. When Aubameyang receives the ball, he ends up dropping it first time across McGinn into the path of Lacazette, and that's where you see the Smith-Rowe gap in the left channel opening. Lacazette looks to instantly play a first-time ball into the path of Smith-Rowe to attempt to create an overload down that side, as Nuno Tavares does look to push forward in the left channel. When Smith-Rowe receives the ball, you can see Nuno Tavares making that overlapping run, and because McGinn is caught central, that now allows Arsenal to overload that left-hand side unless Konsa shifts across. Smith-Rowe looks to play the ball into the path of Nuno Tavares, breaking down that channel, and when Nuno Tavares receives the ball down that left channel, it's Smith-Rowe making the overlapping run that allows him to cut central and fire an effort on goal that's deflected for the corner kick. Here you witness the ball being played back into the path of Lokonga in an inside left position, because Smith-Rowe is occupying the left touch line to occupy Cash. That's where you end up seeing Nuno Tavares looking to make a central run laterally. That ultimately results in Lokonga playing a reverse ball across Buendia, and it also bypasses Douglas Luiz to find Nuno Tavares ahead of the Aston Villa backline. And when he receives the ball in this position, he does receive the opportunity to slide the ball across Konsa into the path of Saka, making a run into left half space, but he ends up firing an effort at the keeper. Following a loose pass in midfield, we witness Smith-Rowe carrying the ball in transition into Aston Villa's half, and you could see Nuno Tavares already breaking down that left channel beyond Matty Cash. As Douglas Luiz looks to get across, Smith-Rowe slides the ball across Konsa, and he should be clearing it, but he ends up making a meal of it, and it falls into the path of Nuno Tavares to break in towards the penalty area, and that's where he witnesses Saka making a free run towards the back post, and he delivers a quality ball across Tuanzebe and Mings to find Saka free in the penalty area. But from this position, he's denied by the Aston Villa goalkeeper. The other key tactical theme that we witnessed from Arsenal stemmed from set pieces. And what we ended up seeing was that they were constantly looking to make runs towards the front post, and it was Ben White initially looking to take away the first line of defense. And then it was Thomas Partey who was constantly shifting away from McGinn to make the run in behind Ben White, looking to flick balls towards the back post and beyond the keeper. The build up to Arsenal's opener, once again, it's Thomas Partey ahead of McGinn at the edge of the 6-yard box from a Smith-Rowe corner. And that results again in Thomas Partey spinning away from McGinn to make a run towards the front post. And you could also see White looking to run off Mings as well. As that ball is delivered, you could see White taking that first step near the edge of the 6-yard box and Thomas Partey getting away from McGinn, and that ultimately results in the ball flying over both Ings and White, and Thomas Partey is able to get his head on it as McGinn does duck, and that prevents Mings from challenging that effort, and Thomas Partey is able to nod Smith-Rowe's corner into the back post. And then lastly, here you witness in the second half Saka delivering a corner kick into the penalty area, but this time Thomas Partey is closed down by Konsa. However, Thomas Partey still from that 6-yard area runs off Konsa towards the front post, and he ends up getting a free header ahead of the center back, but he nods his contested effort over the net. Ultimately, in the second half, we did witness a change from Aston Villa. They shifted into a 4-2-3-1, and what we witnessed from Villa in this shape was now the fullbacks were looking to push forward to peg back Smith-Rowe and Saka. Out in the wider areas, Bailey and Watkins were hugging the touchline, and now that ensured that Tomiyasu and Nuno Tavares couldn't step forward to help with the press. This now ensured that Thomas Partey was tracking the movement of Buendia. It was Lokonga against McGinn, and Lacazette was still on Douglas Luiz. It was ultimately Buendia's movement in that number 10 role that caused Arsenal several issues in the early stages of that half, as he was simply looking to make runs off Thomas Partey into the right half space beyond Tomiyasu to get himself into advanced position. Here we see Buendia and Watkins in a 2v3 battle with Aubameyang, Thomas Partey, and Tomiyasu, and Buendia lays the ball off to Watkins in left half space, and then he makes an underlapping run beyond Tomiyasu and Thomas Partey to receive the ball near the byline, and that ultimately results in him pulling the ball back to Danny Ings, dropping off the two center backs, and it places Ings in this position where Ben White makes a vital block. Nevertheless, in terms of pressing, very little changed. You witness the center forward stepping towards the center backs, and then a wide player looking to close down the center back and block off the passing lane into the fullback that they were closing down. Aston Villa still had issues in this regard, as Tomiyasu and Nuno Tavares were still able to get the ball beyond that pressure to break forward. Here's an example of Villa's press in their 4-2-3-1 as they occupy Odegaard, Lokonga, and Thomas Partey, but Ramsdale's able to simply slide the ball across Watkins into the path of Tomiyasu to push forward, as Watkins was looking to block off the passing lane into the right back as he stepped towards White. And even in the second half, you witness a great chance for Aubameyang that's created by the Nuno Tavares overlap, as it allows him to cut onto his right foot and force the keeper into a quality save. But Arsenal did a very good job of having Smith-Rowe tucking in if required, or then they would still even have Saka tracking back to close down his marker. And in terms of their attack, you could look at their third goal where, again, it's down that left-hand side, as Smith-Rowe's movement and Nuno Tavares' overlapping runs caused Aston Villa more problems in that second half, and Arsenal were able to kill off the game before the hour mark. So as you could see, barring a brief second half Buendia spell, Arteta's Lacazette inclusion combined with a slight positional alteration on his left side resulted in a comfortable Arsenal performance.